I want to welcome everybody. My man Ace Lance, you see him, Ace Layton 902. You see down the corner, Ray Ray. I don't know what he got going on there. Guy, I ain't gonna make jokes, but yeah, like this is.
Me, but I just wanted to take a time and talk about this Terrence Crawford Sean Porter fight that's scheduled to go down November 20th in Las Vegas. Now, this is the fight the fans have been waiting for. What do you think, Marquise? You think Terrence Crawford is finally going to live up to the name that he's built up for himself? You think he's going to get him up out of there?
Well, if you ask me, I'll tell you straight up right away. No, I don't. I can't see Terrence getting Porter up out of there. Porter's not the type of guy to just get up out of anywhere. As you see, he gets in everybody's face. He's a little jumping bean. The guy don't
Mm,
stop. But I mean, I will say the one thing I haven't heard anyone really talk about. Now, maybe this don't matter to some people in boxing, but a lot of people are talking about Sean Porter being pillow fisted or he can't hit. But if you ask
mm.
me, I'm wondering, can he hit as hard as somebody in 140, 135? Because we've all seen Bud be rocked by those guys, but we haven't seen Bud be rocked by a pouncer. That's the one thing I haven't seen.
Mm.
And Gamboa was gassed when he whacked him. I can't see Sean Porter being the type of boxer or a fighter to actually, rock Bud and not continue going and laying on the pressure. So that's the one thing that concerns me about the fight. And I mean, Crawford's been out of the gym for how long? So that's another thing that I find a little bit scary as well. So
Mm.
if you're asking me, I think it's a 50-50 fight. And my honest opinion, because I think they're both two very talented fighters in their own way. Bud is just a beautiful, natural, able to fight any stance, all stance, like his style. But I think we the fans win. Like there's not even I don't even understand why anybody is caring and trying to pick a winner. That's a hard fight to pick a winner. And why not just say,
Yeah.
us as the fans, we win, bro?
Well, I mean, referring to what you said, we all know Porter is the guy that Crawford didn't really want to see. You know what I mean? He got that messed up style. He's a counterpuncher. He's not really the type of guy that Crawford was too hyped to fight, but now he's in there with him, and Porter has let it be known this is going to be a win. He said he's gonna win. He said he's going to come with something that Crawford has never seen, and frankly, I believe him. But I just don't know if it's going to be enough.
Well, I don't.
So
Not
we
that.
are gonna point out Sean Porter does. I mean, you know, next to no next to nobody. Sean Porter got the best resume in boxing right now. So can Terrence Crawford give him something that he's never seen before is the question.
But here's the thing with that great resume that he has. That great resume would look even better and would give him more confidence if he wasn't 50-50 on that record. And that's giving him a few wins that the judges didn't actually give him, right? And some of that is probably a test to you may have been able to apply the pressure, but the main thing is you didn't have the power to get anybody up out of there. You know what I mean? So the only other thing that I see in that fight that, people are not looking at really the fact that Porter's actually fought a fight in the last year. Bud hasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Bud hasn't really fought a fight, and to go along with that, Bud has not fought nobody Sean Porter's caliber, period. So like to not fight a fight,
And,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna add on to what you were saying. Like you told me, you pointed out to me. You always point out to me that Crawford is really unproven at welterweight. He has three world titles. He has world titles in three different weight classes. He hasn't really beaten no real talent in the welterweight division. So there's definitely an asterisk on him there, where Sean Porter has fought the best the welterweight division has to offer, and has
Yeah,
done pretty well against them.
and like a lot of people say that, but they don't even take into account that. I know sparring don't count for much, but he was a Pacquiao sparring partner. You know what I mean? Like he was a partner for Pacquiao in sparring. So let's not act like he hasn't actually been in the ring with the best. You know what I mean? He's been in the ring with even guys like Adrian Broner. Like his resume and his willing to fight has going
Up
back
and
very
down the
far.
weight classes.
Huh?
He's been up and down the weight classes.
Yeah.
And Crawford wanted that fight with Manny Pacquiao, but that fell through. That was his payday. He was waiting for a payday. But now you got what you got. Sean Porter, it's time to fight your mandatory. So I think it's
But
going to be an action-packed fight. I think, like what you said, I don't think anybody's going to lose, and the fans are going to be the real winners. I think this is going to be a great fight. I think it's two great styles. I want to see how they clash. And on top of this, we have a whole schedule of great fights coming up. And 1 week from today, we have
And we gonna be in your face for all of them.
Deontay. We got Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder going
Bomb
up against Tyson the
squad.
Gypsy
The
King
baddest
Fury
man on the
in the
planet,
well-anticipated
Deontay
trilogy
Wilder.
coming up October 9th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. And this is really, for me, this is the biggest fight in boxing. This
Can I
is
say something?
everything, especially,
Can I say something?
yeah.
For all you people, this corner, from what I know of, talking to Ace, talking to Ray, he's the buffer. So he's just gonna come along anyways. And this is a Deontay Wilder support channel. I got nothing but love for the dude. I like what he's doing. He's been willing to fight anybody. So if you come on here talking that foolishness, I ain't gonna call it racist. I ain't gonna get that energy any type of
You're
time.
getting up out of here. You're gonna
Yeah,
get up out of here.
yeah, I'm not even gonna respond to your
So,
ignorance about Wilder's not better than Fury. We'll see when the fight comes. That's why they fight the fights. Continue, Ace. My bad.
well, I think that the fight now has even higher stakes with the big win on Saturday there, Alexander Usyk, with the big win against Anthony Joshua, claiming four of the major five sanctioned titles in the heavyweight division. I mean, if you ask me, the only title that really counts right now is the WBC. Not that I have much respect for the WBC, but I just
We
feel
be
like
cheating
Fury and
title.
Wilder been. I'm just. It's not even the sanctioning body. It's not even the WBC. It's just
Ray, turn
Tyson
your
Fury
phone
and Wilder been
sideways.
going back and forth. So I think that
Ray, turn your phone
I think
sideways.
I
There you
think
go.
it raises the stakes, and but I think since it's been Wilder, Wilder was he's one of only seven men to ever, I think it was seven men, don't quote me, but to have 10 title defenses. So I mean, I feel like if he defended his title that many times, the belt he was holding got to be the most important heavyweight title, and then to lose it to Tyson Fury, who's still out of all these guys, he's still the only undefeated fighter, even though you know we'll dive more into that at a different time. But one thing we know for certain, unless Tyson Fury wins, because there's always some controversy behind the Tyson Fury win, and things always end up to be messed up. But one thing we
Things seem
know,
to always have a way
when
to working out for this guy.
exactly, and one thing I know is that when Deontay Wilder gets him up out of there and gets his belt back, we're going to have a chance for an undisputed heavyweight champion for the first time since Lennox Lewis relinquished the title upon his retirement and broke the
Canadian
lineage.
home.
So beyond the titles, the lineage is up for grabs too, which Tyson Fury still holds the lineage, but he's about to give that up right now.
So I'd like to come back to
Yeah,
that
and
in a
like
minute,
Marquis
though.
said,
My bad. I'd like to come back to
we're
that in a
definitely
minute.
support we're de- definitely supporting Wilder up in here, but we do want to hear all takes. We want to hear all opinions. Tyson Fury, hell of a boxer. He has a lot of God gifted talents, but I don't understand why he cheats with all the talents and all everything that he has going for himself. I'll say it. Why does he cheat? Why does he need to go into a fight with an unfair advantage? And these things aren't isolated incidents. We'll be going through this kind of stuff on the show. We're going to be breaking down all the incidents, everything. We're definitely going to be dedicating some time to this issue. But we are looking forward to this fight, October 9th, Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. I'll be watching, and I know Marquis be watching, Brian be watching. We'll probably be on here while it's going on. So it's going to be hype. And we also have four other big heavyweight fights going on that night too. So anytime the heavyweights are getting into the ring clashing, it's definitely going to
I would really
be
ask you though, bro, because you be talking about the Bud and the Bud fight, and I mean, I remember when I first started really getting back into really watching boxing heavy. I remember I asked you about Spence and Bud, and I always thought Spence just had that physical, you know, technical boxing technique that kind of would stop Bud because he's a little too big, and Bud ain't been in the ring with no one like that. From what I know of, I can only go on what I see, and for me, I've always wanted to know, like, who would you honestly say, like, you might have to think on it, but who would you honestly say is Bud's toughest opponent?
who would be Bud's
Yeah,
toughest
because when we're
opponent?
yeah, because when we're talking about a guy like Sean Porter, right? We're talking about a guy who's fought the best at his weight class. He's never lost a convincing loss. He's been knocked down all of but what, twice, maybe three times you could say in the Ugas fight, maybe. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, he's been in tough fights. He's always been in tough fights, with guys at welterweight division. So when you're looking at a guy like um when you're looking at a guy like Bud, you're looking at a guy who's never really been in a tough fight, and despite not really being in a tough fight, you're looking at a guy that if he is in a tough fight, what does he do? Because no one's ever seen him, deal in that. We know what Sean Porter can do. I just gotta honestly say, with all respect to Porter, he can't win a tough fight. You know what I mean? Like it seems like he does fade out
Well,
between the last two rounds.
yeah. Well,
That's
I
just me.
think what I'm thinking is I definitely think that Porter has the ability to take Bud into places that he's never been. Take him into deep waters he's never been. And I also feel like in that it gives Bud the opportunity to bring the best out of himself. So I mean, it's a make or I feel like it's an amazing fight. It's a make or break fight for Crawford because I mean, if you can't get by Porter, you might as well head back down to lightweight, buddy. Because it ain't getting no easier. You know what I mean? Because who do you have next? If you can get past him, you got Ugas. I don't even want to get into it today, but you know what you just told me, and you know what happened in the amateurs. So
Whoa,
you
whoa, we
have
getting
that.
heavy.
And we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. But Ugas right now is the man because Ugas just snatched that. He
I
just got
don't,
his title off. He got his title off the books and got it for real. He got it,
I
and
don't
now
like
we
that
have.
though.
And then we have Earl Spence too. So I mean, if
And we
if
still
if and I expect that he is going to be Bud. He has. It's either going to be. It won't make any sense if it's anybody besides Ugas or Earl Spence after that. So
There's
yeah,
still Keith
it's
Thurman out
definitely
there, and I still think like I'm gonna lie. I don't think Danny Garcia beats him, but I think Danny Garcia should be, if anything, I think Danny Garcia would be a nice next challenge because we all know that his footwork
Andy
would be too
Garcia
much.
for Bud.
Yep, because
Yeah,
it's
I
too.
mean that would be great because I mean he probably will have to fight another. He probably will have to fight another fight before
I like Danny, but I
he
think
gets
Bud
he
washes him.
gets the big fight.
Unless
I don't
unless
want to.
Danny can catch him, Danny's gonna wash him. Only two
I
So
don't
people.
going,
want to start
so
talking
going
about.
back to the Porter fight, what do you think what do you think both fighters have to work on to be prepared for this fight? Like, what's the main thing in their training they need to work on right now?
Well,
Well, we know that Sean Porter needs to work on that power. He needs to
well,
work on
I'll
that
say
that
I know
that
Bud can swim. I know Bud can swim. I'll just put it to you that way. I seen Bud get rock and recover in less than 3.2 seconds, so he can definitely swim. You can take Bud in the deepest of waters you want. I think he swims back out. It's just, are you strong enough to drown him? My bad. I just had to say that.
But yeah, I feel like I feel like on paper everything is really in Bud's favor. If Bud fights his kind of fight, he just needs to work on what he already knows how to do, and Porter needs to work on the basic stuff, hanging in there, being consistent, and not getting hit too much. He puts himself out there a lot in the fight. He pushes the pace. He doesn't give his opponent a break, but Bud is Bud is a Bud is also a different kind of beast than he fought. I mean, he did fight a lot of great fighters, but Bud definitely
Name one.
brings something to the table.
Name one in their prime.
Ooh,
Name one in their prime.
ooh,
A
for
great
Sean
a great
Porter?
fighter. No, no, no. I thought you said Bud fought a lot of great fighters.
No, I'm talking about Sean Porter. Sean Porter's fought a lot of great fighters,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Terrence Bud Crawford still does pose, some he is still going to hit him with some things that he probably never seen before because Terrence Bud Crawford is a great fighter in his own sense, even though he's not proven at welterweight. So I think it's a great opportunity for both guys. I'm definitely, thinking that it's going to be in Terrence Bud Crawford's favor. And I mean, like you said, he's going to be faced with some challenges that he never been faced with before. But in those challenges, he's going to have the opportunity to take himself to the next level. And if he gets past Porter, then he's going to have a big weight advantage. That's a guarantee. So and especially since Errol Spence missed out on his payday with Manny Pacquiao, he knows now the best payday now is probably with Bud. So Bud can get through this. We'll see what goes on with the Usyk Manny Pacquiao. He's calling for a rematch. I don't know why. I don't even think they should
Manny
let him fight.
Pacquiao
But
retires.
that's
There's not
another.
gonna be a fight. There's not gonna be a fight. Manny Pacquiao announced his retirement today or
Oh,
yesterday.
really?
Yeah, there's not gonna be
Okay.
a fight.
All
If you ask me, if you ask me what I think, um, what they would have to work on, if you want my opinion for Porter, I think what he has to work on is getting a little bit more power in that more a little bit more pop in that punch. I think his jab can use a little bit more snap and not just use it to throw a 1-2, a basic combination, and just trying to get in there and bully, muscle him and smother him. I think what he might want to do, is work on. being able to try to get inside and just keep him smothered. Like that's the only game plan. Like I could say 1,001 things just to sound good, but I think the only thing Porter really can do is try to get inside, smother those punches, so he can take a little bit off of Bud's punches. Because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Bud can't pop. I've watched Bud pop, and we all seen that he can pop. So I mean, if you're dropping to a guy like um what's his name, Broner's right hook, I mean coming right out of the round, I think Bud catches you slipping, it's not going to be nice. So for
Yeah,
me,
yeah, yeah. That's a good point that you make
for
there.
for me, like Porter does got to be careful going in there fighting the way he fights, and I hope he is bringing something special, like he said. But as far as like Bud, what he has to do is something I think Bud is always really good for. Like I hear a lot of people say a lot of silly shit about his head and the way he thinks and the way he is, but in reality, Bud's always had a really good head. He doesn't do stupid things. Boxing is his game. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big Bud fan. I like good fighters. I'm not a big Bud
Best
fan.
I ever heard you talk about Bud in my life.
Well, I'm talking the truth. I'm not going to sit here and just, jabber jab back with you. But I think in reality, if Bud, I do honestly though, I think in reality, if Bud goes in there and he's prepared for the fight and he's just ready to, not prove anything to nobody in the sense of I can take a hit or I can bang with anybody and just prove like this is why they say I'm number one pound for pound. I think he gets a good 12 rounds, and I think honestly, some had it like 8-5 or eight. No, man, I won't lie, or 8-4, whatever it is. I honestly can say like I see it maybe even a 9-3. Just Bud just dancing around him all day, showing who's more athletic. That would be my take. And as long as Bud sticks to his basics and goes in there knowing that he's just gonna prove that I can get this guy out of there, and it's just a quick payday, easy work. Cool. I
It
think
should
that's
be.
what Bud's
It
gonna
should.
work out the
I
mental
wouldn't
game.
say. I wouldn't say should be a smooth night of work, but he should definitely. But and he has stated he's on paper now saying that he will win in spectacular fashion,
Yeah, but
and he's
but
in
I'm
the
not
best
saying
shape of his life.
I'm not saying easy work though, bro. I'm not saying easy work in the sense that he's just gonna work him easy and walk him down and beat him easy. When I say easy work, what I actually mean, like Bud's a boxer. He's not really a slug for slug guy. Like he's a beautiful boxer. The way that he moves in the ring, the way his footwork is, the way he dances around, and if he does that, Porter, as athletic as he is, doesn't might not have the angles that Bud has, and it can be very easy for Bud to go in there and dance around for 3 minutes, 12 rounds, win his fight, keep his money, move on to bigger and better things, and put that fight behind him. Like I think that's a possibility. But outside of that, man, that's a really good question. I mean, with me saying that, because you heard me say it twice now, I think it's going 12. What do you think? What
Mm.
with what me and
Well,
him said, with what me and Ace said, Ray, what do you think? How far do you think this fight goes? A championship fight is 12 rounds, 3 minutes a round. How far do you think this fight goes?
based on everything you guys said, I think it might go to a decision. Might go the whole way.
Yeah, what do you think, Ace?
Um, I'm not. I'm gonna. I don't think it's a bold prediction, but honestly, I'm gonna say that Bud's gonna get him up out of there. I'm going for Bud to get him up out of there. I'm gonna call Bud to get him up out of there probably between the eighth and the 10th round. I'm thinking that I'm thinking if he's Bud and he's gonna be the Bud and he's gonna live up to who he's supposed to be, I think he's gonna have to. So I'm gonna go for Bud to get him up out of there. Probably referee stoppage.
All right. Well, I'm going to say this here. Here's what I'm going to say. And it's going to be a bold prediction based on what both of you guys said and based on everything we are saying. But when I look at it, you say Bud's better on paper, but if we're talking resume, I don't think he's better on paper or resume. But if we're actually
No,
talking,
definitely not.
okay, so skills, statistics, he's better. Cool.
Oh, the skills, yeah. The tail of
Well,
the tape is gonna tell the tale of Terrence Crawford
all
totally
right.
outmatching Sean Porter.
Well, I think this. Here's what I'm going to say. I think based on the fact that Sean Porter has more to lose on the table if he loses. He's not looking to be a gatekeeper. Sean Porter's still running around on that moral Earl victory lap. And if you ask me, I feel like he knows he's in the ring with another top pound for pound guy. He has to give it his all, and to get one win will keep him going. If he doesn't win, he's going to become a gatekeeper. He's going to be, well, fight Porter to see if you can get to the next level. Because I mean, there's nothing else left. You done fought everybody and all the topper echelons like the Keith Thurmans, the Earl Spence, and the Bud Crawfords. Now you lost to. You lost, and they were for belts. He got more championship opportunities than a lot of fighters out there today, and he's proven not able to do it. And you're beating guys like Danny Garcia, and you're beating guys like Ugas, who we already know that are not the top three. You know what I mean? So I just feel like he has no choice. So if I was to say like someone who's like Sean Porter, who's a competitor, you putting him in a corner, he's gonna do what any dog would do in a corner. He's gonna bite, and that's what I think is gonna happen. True story. I think Sean Porter is just gonna go in there from round 1 to round 12, giving all he's got, and he's just gonna overwhelm him, and the judges will win. But don't mistake. A lot of those overwhelming punches, the judges don't count because they're not really connecting. They're not hitting nothing. They're meaningless punches, empty punches. But my pick, yeah, definitely, I'm gonna go with Sean Porter just because he needs it. I don't expect to win, but I'll cash in if I do.
And if I I'm a, and I'm going to make another prediction. I'm going to make a side prediction that
Mhm.
if Bud doesn't pull the fight out, if Bud loses to Sean Porter, I think it could possibly be his last fight. I'm not going to
No,
lie.
no.
It's possible with the stuff that he got going on with Top Rank. I mean, if you lose to
Oh, you
Sean
said
Porter,
Bud? If
we're
Bud loses,
yeah, yeah. Bud loses.
um,
I could see him not fighting again if he was to lose this fight because he got all the stuff going on with Top Rank. He's already have hard times getting fights. Yeah, and now if he loses
he's
to
too much
Sean
of a
Porter,
dog to
like
go home.
all his cachet is gone. I mean, you could be right about that, but I mean,
He's
he's
too
already
much of a
talked about
dog, man.
retiring before.
Yeah, but he says a
We'll
lot of
see.
things. He says a lot of
He's a
things.
dog. He's a dog, but dogs be different after they take a loss. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
he's a dog, man. I think like him being a dog, he can't go home until he got a win. Like I can't see him like he reminds me of like guys from our neighborhoods, man. Like you don't go home until you got that victory. Like you sit there, bloody nose, snotty nose, t-shirt hanging off of you. All your friends trying to tell you something. No, no, I get him, I get him. He's one of them little boys that don't realize it doesn't matter if you get your temper up. You ain't beating dude. He's one of those guys, man. That's why I say he's a Doug. Like I don't like some of the moves he made in boxing, but as far as like his personality and who he is, he reminds me of no different than the guys I used to hang out with and grow up with. So I can't see him being one of the best boxers, finally fighting a a real competition, a legacy defining fight type of fight. Lose that and say, okay, I'm gonna hang it up like it's one loss. Like we got to stop treating boxers like that. Like that's why we're not getting the fights we want. A guy gets one loss and we're already talking about hanging it up. Like come on, bro.
Well, that's how they treat each other.
But
That's
that's
how
how
they
they
treat
treat each other.
themselves.
But that's only because they can get
That's
away with
how
it
it
through the
is.
fans. But that's because us to the
Why
fans, like,
why
but it's us
why
the
do all the
fans.
top fighters why do all the top fighters have no, it's not. I don't feel like it's the fans because the fans have always loved boxers whether they were undefeated or defeated. We've seen some of the greatest fighters come back from defeat and not be as great as they were until they suffered the defeat. There used to be an old thing that I used to hear Teddy Atlas say back in the day. I can't remember who he was quoting, but he used to say that they used to say that fighters should not even be able to fight for a title until they
Until they
have
take a
taken a
loss.
loss.